Absolutely.
Communication is the key here. No matter if it's with your, in this case, she might be single, but if your primary partner, your person you're married to, your wife, husband, or the communication with your play partners is so key. And we don't really talk about that very often. And it's a really important aspect of being in an open relationship or being a swinger.
Right. Well, and we talk so often about just our relationship and our boundaries and how those ebb and flow, and how we always are talking to our audience about checking in with each other, and how sometimes maybe a boundary that we had one time doesn't necessarily stay a hard boundary down the road. Maybe something that we think is really going to bother us here doesn't end up bothering us over here. And so kind of the fluidity of our boundaries and the relationship, and as it matures and how things change. Very seldom are you going to be in a relationship that's so rigid that nothing ever changes. So for them to have been in this kind of play partner environment for a year and a half, yeah, I would definitely suggest, let's revisit the guidelines or boundaries of the couple and see if there's any room for movement there or what that would look like. And then it's going to, based on that, it'll answer some of her other questions.
That is correct. Yes.
So.
I mean, if it's going to continue to be as rigid as this is, then, at that point, you're going to be able to make a better uniform decision if you want to continue the relationship or not.
Right.
I just love a lot of things she says in here. First of all, to be in a relationship 1.5 years and not have any emotion getting involved. I mean, I think in any relationship with anybody, there's going to be some kind of emotion involved there, even if it's, it doesn't have to be love, but you develop a relationship with someone, even if you're only seeing them periodically. I mean, I have some really good friends that I only see maybe a couple times a month. And, I saw one of those guys this week, and I don't really see him that much, but I really feel close to him. And there's definitely some emotion there. I have, when we talk to each other and share stories about catching up about what's been going on in their lives, I feel for him, and he feels for me too, I believe. And I think the same thing would happen here. You've been seeing someone for such a long period of time. If something were to happen to that person, you would definitely feel something there. Feel sorry for them, or hope the best for them, hope they recover if it's something, an ailment, or they get in an accident, something like that. So there's definitely some kind of emotion there that I don't think it would be difficult to suppress it all. Now, maybe falling in love, that one you definitely could suppress. You just in your mind, this can't happen. You have, if you're in a relationship with, like you and I are, I can see someone and know that this is not going to cross that line. I think, there's a certain point. If it does, you can pull back. But I don't know. I think that can become a mental thing. You can really turn that off and on. There may still be some emotion involved there, but it's not. That doesn't necessarily have to go to the point of polyamory. And if it does, that's something you really have to talk about with all the partners involved there, if it's going to get to that point. So and that can be definitely challenging.
Yeah, I think one of the dangers that we can fall into is when we try to put parameters on something like that. I would be more concerned if somebody had been in a relationship for a year and a half and says, I have no feelings.
Yeah.
I would assume they're either lying, or two, that, I don't know, maybe they're a psychopath or something. I don't know. Because really, you brought it up. I mean, I can end up having a relationship with somebody who works at the grocery store if I've been going to the grocery store for a gabillion years, and that same person's there. I'm going to notice if they're not there, or I'm going to be concerned if they're not there.
Yeah.
Or, I think it's silly for us to try to not be truthful, or to put up some kind of a barrier that states, I'm going to keep this interaction with you without there being any emotion. Yeah, but then that's not really you're not really giving a true account of what that relationship is. Of course you're going to have some kind of a of course you're going to have some kind of a feeling for that person. But here's the thing, and I think sometimes we try to do this when we've grown up monogamy and we're switching to non-monogamy. That is one of those plays from our old playbook that we keep. If you can't have any kind of an emotional attachment to this person. Well, I'm sorry, most of us are going to have an emotional attachment to just about everybody we come in contact with. I mean, I have an emotional attachment to Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
I have an emotional attachment to the camera guy. I mean, I'm concerned about what what's going on in his life. So I think it's really important, if we're going to be in a non-monogamous based relationship model, that we really have to get honest about how communal we are as a species, and how we are going to interact with people all the time, and we are going to have emotion. I mean, we should have emotion. We should have caring and concern for other people, and not just be like, well, you can do this, but you can't have any feeling. Well, that's not even possible. I mean, that's like, let's get real here. Let's have a real conversation about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first thing. And I guess really a lot of times that's what people that kind of graduate into polyamorous relationships are honest about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're going to have these feelings about all these other people, but that doesn't mean we still can't operate and have all of those separate at the same time.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, because we do it anyway. We have relationships with people simultaneously all day long.
Sure.
And it doesn't, I mean, like, you're not affected by anybody else that I'm having, an emotional relationship with for fear of me leaving. But I think anytime you throw sex, because love equals sex in so many, in a normal relationship model, a monogamous relationship model, that it's really hard to differentiate those two things. So I would, let's really be open and honest about what's going on, and let's just acknowledge the fact that yes, there are some emotions taking place, and what is that? So then how's that going to look moving forward? Maybe somebody's doing it to protect themselves from feeling like, who knows what, that they have competition, or they think they're going to have competition, or that they're going to lose their partner because somebody loves somebody more, because that's another thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be in first place. I have to be the winner. You can love this person. You just can't love them as much as you love me, which, again, if we look at it logically, that's silly.
And she asks if it's a common thing, and I do think it is common, especially in early relationship. When people early in the relationship get into the consensual non-monogamous relationship, whether it be swinger or whatever it is, especially with swingers, there's always this thing, you can have sex, just don't let any emotions get in the way.
Right.
But then they start going to lunch or dinner with these friends that they are having sex with, and you start
go on trips with
communicating and learning about their lives and their family and their work and so on. And that's when that starts happening. You start really having friends that you're having sex with, and there definitely is emotions that play into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's absolutely common. I think that's one of the early boundaries in swinger relationships, is to say you just can't have any feelings.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I don't know how you keep those things from cropping up. I agree with you. You'd have to really be a psychopath not to let the emotions come up. The only way to really do it is if you're having sex with someone like that twice a month. It'd be like going into the hotel room, have sex and leave and don't have a conversation.
Right.
Like, do not get to know them at all. And maybe that's what you've been doing for a year and a half. But I find that highly unlikely. If you have time you're spending together, you're having conversations, and you're going to like the person at a minimum.
Well, and I mean,
You wouldn't keep going back.
Yeah, I mean, you make it worse on yourself because you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
So, like, let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that she's going to find out one way or the other if they can continue on or not by having that conversation.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
I mean,
The key is definitely going to be to have that conversation with the couple.
Yeah.
And see if there's any leeway there on maybe changing the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah.
And let us know what happens. I'm really curious to see what happens in this. And Jackie will send you an email letting you know that we did this video or a message, and then let us know how it goes. And for you, those of you out there that haven't joined our Open Love 101 YouTube channel, please subscribe. Go to openlove101.com, sign up for our email list, and we'll let you know of any upcoming articles, videos, other things that Jackie and I have going on in our lives. And then hope you enjoyed the video.
See ya.
See ya. Great job, Jackie. And if you like that video, please click the button below, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll give you plenty of more. Plenty of more? Kidding me?